بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Free Hadeeth on Seeking Knowledge, Volume 1. We have a full explanation of the book from cover to cover on the channel. And you can find that explanation in its own separate playlist called 40 Hadeeth on Seeking Knowledge, Volume 1. Alhamdulillah, just lately we finished 40 Hadeeth on Seeking Knowledge, Volume 2, the explanation. And you can find that playlist on the channel as well for free. So both volumes 1 and 2 have been published. Both volumes 1 and 2 are available for free with full explanation and commentary on the channel. That's first and foremost. What we're going to do today, with the time that we have today, is we want to make a general run through. We're going to look over the book, through the book. We want to ask some questions. We want to entertain some questions just pertaining to the book. And we want to take some selections and some passages from the book. Everyone understand this? Okay. So that being said, the first edition was 2014. And we're in 2022. So that's what, 8 years ago? Page 7 in the introduction. I wrote the book in 2013. So the book is coming up on its 10th anniversary, or birthday, or decade, or whatever word you want to use, right? Inshallah. And I wrote the book in the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I wrote it in Medina. I was actually a student in the College of Hadeeth, as it says in the introduction, the Prophet's City, Al-Madina, KSA. I think I was doing my master's program at the time. So I was in the process of the city, and I wrote this book in a few locations. In the Prophet's Masjid library, in my own house, my own library. And I believe, I know for sure, there were times in which I worked on the book when I was over a good friend of mine's house as well. Shout out to Absat, my man Muhammad Spray from Atlantic City. If you're watching or if you hear this, times in which we would visit him, and I would have my laptop, I would have my books, and I would be working on the book. So the book is basically, well, not basically, I can't even say that, but instead the book is several things. It wears several hats. First hat that it wears is the book is meant to be a manual on how to seek knowledge. Do's and don'ts on successfully learning the sacred knowledge of Islam. Secondly, the book is meant to be that which is called Juz'un Hadithiyun. There are different types of Hadith books. There are different genres. There's the Sahih class, the Sunan class, Muwatta class, Musnad class, Kutub Ahadith al-Ahkam, that class, Mustakhrajat, okay, and then there's that which is called Al-Ajza' al-Hadithiyya. And that Ajza' al-Hadithiyya is basically a selection of hadiths, but only on one topic. And it's normally a smaller book. Such as Imam Bukhari's book, which is called Juz'u Raf' al-Yadayn. The book that he wrote speaking on raising the hands in one's prayer. The sunnah of raising the hands, not just for the first takbirah, but raising the hands in other places. Imam Bukhari, he wrote that book to establish the sunnah of raising the hands in the prayer. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, he wrote that book refuting, rejecting, rebuking, and criticizing a scholar or scholars who said that you should not raise your hands in the prayer. So that book that Imam Bukhari wrote does not contain the chapter of purification, the chapter of Iman, the chapter of tafsir, the chapter of dream interpretation, the chapter of marriage, the chapter of divorce, the chapter of hunting, the chapter of slaughtered meats, the chapter of drinks, the chapter of farming, sharecropping, buying, selling, loaning, the chapter of wills, the chapter of inheritance, the chapter of funerals, the chapter of ghusl, the chapter of menstruation and its rulings. But he wrote a small book that's only dealing with what? One topic. All right? And there are many other scholars as well who wrote books just on one topic. Before Bukhari, during Bukhari's time, and after the Imam Bukhari's time. An example of a very famous and a very popular book by a scholar who came many years later after the Imam Bukhari, which is Juz' al-Kaba'ir, the book on the major sins by Dhahabi, rahimahullah, of the 8th century. So in that book, he's collecting the hadiths that only deal with major sins, nothing else. And there are many other scholars who wrote ajza'. So this is considered to be a revival and a resurrection and an imitation of that way of those ulama of hadith, in which they wrote a collection just on one topic. And Nawawi, rahimahullah ta'ala, obviously the most famous to have written a book on 40 hadiths, is considered to be a juz' because it deals with the comprehensive hadiths about Islam. The comprehensive hadiths about Islam. So this is a small hadith compilation, not an explanation, not just hadith compilation on one topic. And that is talabul ilm. The virtue, the excellence, the superiority, the do's and the don'ts on seeking knowledge with regards to the old world. As far as a third hat that the book wears in the new world is that the book is not just a translation, nor is it just cutting and pasting, but it's a meticulously laid out work for the English reader and speaker. And also, for many things that the English speaking and the English culture, or one who's culturally down in the Western world, on seeking it. Things that you need to worry about, and things that you need to stay away from, especially in volume 2, which was finely tuned. Social media, internet, Facebook, married first, personality worship, eating from paper plates. Big problem in the world, let alone in Western countries. People having TV dinners. TV dinner is cheap, it's easy, it's quick, it tastes good, it's full of MSG, it isn't nutritious, it isn't healthy. You just pop it and you eat it. You just become a scholar overnight. You become a sheikh overnight. You start giving dawah overnight. You start teaching people overnight. You start discrediting others and talking down and speaking ill of others overnight. And if you're the most popular, you have the most subscribers, or you have the best this or best that, you call those people paper plates. Flimsy, cheap, and you understand, it's not China. Something that's heavy, something that took skill and craft to make. Right? It's a difference. So we spoke on different issues that pertain to the Western countries and Western societies specifically in Volume 1 and more so in Volume 2. And also, this book is considered to be, mashallah, it's considered to be a contribution to the Islamic library. And there are many other things, let alone me pouring out my heart, how I feel, how I see things, what I learned, and me sharing and me giving back to my community and my people, some on America, Canada, UK, etc., in this book. Everybody understand this? All right. So therefore, the artwork is very different than Volume 2 or from the Way of the Disciple. And as we have said and spoken before, we have close to 90 hadiths in 2 small books, all from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of those 80 or 83 or 84, that's a lot of beef, it's a lot of steak and potatoes to fill your ribs, fill you up. And then, of course, the steak, then the potatoes, there's the soup and the salad, the dessert and the drinks, which are just as important, but not steak, right? Unless you have some vegans among us, or vegetarians, I don't know. You got any vegans here tonight? Any vegetarians among us? Pescatarians, anybody? Fish? Tight. Hand show. All right. So with that being said, the first two volumes give you the hardcore stuff, the proof and evidence why you seek knowledge, why you respect your teacher, why you sacrifice, why you have to memorize, why, etc., repetition, etc. And then the way of the disciple, that is the book which is meant to show you and to give you the points with the speech, with the explanation, with the actual manual style, right? Similar to a Kung Fu manual. Yeah, you understand? Everybody with me? So if you had 1, 2, and 3 together, no doubt, you have a good, solid foundation. Rather, and I'm not bragging or boasting, just being honest, with those 3 books, you have more than a foundation. It's not just primary, you have much more. You can go further than that. And there are many finely tuned aspects and exotic elements in the way of disciple, for sure. Anyone who's read it, he knows that. So I'm telling you now, in hindsight, this, and volume 2 are meant to what? Be a cohesive system. Everybody understand this? All right. Another very important point is, if you notice in volume 1, is that there are chapter headings. And the chapter headings aren't placed later on, like you find in some books. For Hadeeth and Noe didn't necessarily put the chapter headings. People came later on and added the chapter heading, the main lesson from Hadeeth. But here, I, myself, the author, placed the chapter headings. And that's also an imitation of the ulama of Hadeeth of the past, especially Imam Bukhari. And other scholars of Kutub Sitta, Imam Tirmidhi, rahimahullah, Imam Ibn Khuzaymah, Imam Ibn Hibban, Imam Abu Dawood, and Nasa'i, the fuqaha of the muhaddithin. The hadith masters, they're also fiqh masters. And many scholars, they will say in the past, fiqh al-Bukhari fi tarajumihi. Imam al-Bukhari's madhab, Imam al-Bukhari's understanding is found in the chapter headings. So the chapter heading is meant to get you mentally prepared to look out, what to look out for, what to get from the hadith. And we've explained this many times before. Another very important point with this book of how to benefit from it properly is cohesion. If you look carefully, the book is not just sloppily thrown together, but it's dealing with the etiquette pertaining to you and the law, sincerity, hard work. It's dealing with the etiquette pertaining to you and yourself. And it's also dealing with the etiquette between you and others, teachers, classmates, and students. And we explained this in Scotland. That the adab al-talab are 3 categories. There's al-adabu ma'allah, al-adabu ma'nafs, wal-adabu ma'al-ghayr. There's etiquette with Allah, your Lord, etiquette with yourself. You have to behave yourself with yourself. As strange as that may sound. You can't oppress yourself. You can't wrong yourself. Okay, nor can you short yourself. Shorting yourself is oppression. You understand? You're smart. You have a level of intelligence that I don't have. I have to read, study to get. You got it naturally. You understand? How does it feel for you not to push yourself? You get it? You understand or not? Everybody with me or not? Somebody's really tall. So you gotta play basketball. I don't like basketball. You gotta what? Gotta play. You're 6'3", you're 6'4". I'm not, you just stand in the middle of the court. That in itself helps us out. There are people who are shorter, who want to be taller, but they can't what? You can't short yourself. So there's an etiquette, there's a way that you're supposed to treat yourself. And last but not least, there is a way that you must behave with other human beings, rather even animals. You can't treat your teacher like you treat yourself. You can't treat your teacher like you treat your friend or your homie, even if your teacher is your homie. You can't treat your student like you would treat your son, your family member. This person, from one aspect, is what? He's closer to you. He learns from you. Your son may not want to learn from you. Your daughter may not be interested in this matter. Your family members, they may not be interested in learning. But this person who has no DNA with you, he respects you, loves you, follows you more than your own. So there's a do and there's a don't with everybody, all right? Okay, so if you look at the book, you'll see, inshallah, we'll take how the things are put together. All right, can we have someone to read the introduction, please, on page 3? And obviously you see there's ink pop publications. This was before the Hadeeth disciple days. Before the Hadeeth disciple days, alhamdulillah. And I can say this to Ben, being happy and I can have pride in this. I'm proud to say that. Is alhamdulillah, for years now, we've been calling and propagating and showing bigotry to Ahlul Hadith. But alhamdulillah, it's not a new thing for us. It's not overnight, huh? It's not going to just pop up, this group, that group, and then, Ahlul Hadith. No, we've been on the equivalent, and Inkpot. So this was the original company that I had made, the original Dawah brand that I had made. I wanted to do my own. I was tired of people trying to monopolize, control, and I wanted to do something myself. And it was called Inkpot Publications. And alhamdulillah, I got this logo made. There's a graphic designer who did it for me. And you can see how classy it is. And old school. And obviously, Hadeeth disciple is still with the what? The ink pot and the quill. So nothing really changes. The form versus the formless. So this book was, I would say, a label. Huh? This album came on a what? On a different label. This is before we had our own records. You get it? You understand? But the stuff, the album still was what? Still was fire. You understand it? Or not? You sure? No fake piety, Aki. You get it? He signed this label, then he signed what? It's another label. The album content doesn't what? You get it? You understand or not? Right. Alright, so with that being said, compilation, obviously, which is one of the types of knowledge, as the ulama have said, compiling itself is a skill, and it's like anything else in life, it's always easier said than done, and it looks easier as an onlooker. Oh, that's easy, that's nothing. You just, when we actually do it, putting it together, making sense, how you going to work it, how you going to rate it, it's not that simple. All right, with that being said, the book was under this publication, 2014. Can we have someone to read on page 3 for us, please?
Page 3?
Yes. Ali?
The heart's obtainment of knowledge is like the body's obtainment of nourishment from food. So just as the bodies feel the effect of food and drink, the hearts feel the effects that which they are fed from, the types of knowledge and sciences which is their food and drink. There isn't any doubt about the reality that the pleasure of ilm is the greatest pleasure, and it is the only pleasure that remains after death and benefits a person in the hereafter. It is the pleasure of having knowledge of Allah and acting thereupon, and this is the belief in Allah. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah.
So this statement I felt to be extremely profound. No doubt about it. Something that we all do in this room, we all love to eat and drink. And Allah Azza wa Jalla gave us taste buds for a reason, right? There's a reason why you have taste buds. And there's a reason why you have a nose. There's a reason why, just think about the whole restaurant experience now. Or home cooking, it's much more than just what you taste. You see the food. They cook the food in front of you. They bring it out sizzling. You hear what? Crackling, right? The bacon crackling in the morning in the pan. The American culture, right? You smell it. The texture, you taste it. So eating food is a whole entire experience, correct? And the same applies to seeking knowledge. And the heart and the mind and the connection between the two, there lies no doubt they feel it. But that's only the real knowledge, the good knowledge. As far as the fake stuff, the corny, whack stuff, the MSG, it tastes good really quick, but sodium. Or messes you up, makes you use the bathroom. You ever eat a real good meal and afterwards you feel what? You're like, it feels good. It digests well in your body, let alone the energy from the food or the drink, the nutrition, the vitamins, the nutrients. There's no doubt with regards to the real knowledge, the beneficial knowledge from Quran and Hadeeth, when it's presented, when it's given to you, when it's shown to you, you feel it. You feel like a better Muslim. You feel closer to Allah. You feel pious. You feel righteous. You feel inspired. I want to be like Imam Bukhari now. I want to be like Imam Ahmed. I want to do the right thing. I want to write a book. I want to get to class. I want to do the khutbah. I want to be the sheikh, etc., etc., etc. So, having knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, acting upon that knowledge, and of course, you know what the Salaf said with regards to alimun billahi, alimun bi amrillah, alimun billahi, jahilun bi amrillah. Those who know Allah and know Allah's commandments. Those who know Allah and don't know His commandments. And the reality of what Allah just says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Only the learned people have true fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how a person can have a great deal of knowledge but not act upon it. مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ أُمِّنَ التَّوْرَاةَ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَحْمِلُوهَا كَمَثَلِ الْحِمَارِ يَحْمِلُ أَسْفَارًا. Allah says like donkeys carrying books on their backs. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ الَّذِي آتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا أَتْبَعَهُ الشَّيْطَانُ وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَرَفَعْنَاهُ بِهَا وَلَكِنَّهُ فَمَا له etc. Who is this story talking about? What surah is this from? Who is Allah speaking about in this surah? In this ayah? Surah Al-Araf, mashallah. She beat you. I said, what surah is it? I did, huh? But who is Allah talking about in chapter 7? لا, not this ayah. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ الَّذِي لَيْسَ الَّذِينَ. Who is Allah talking about? Is Allah so specific?
Those who carry the verses.
Oh, nah, that's the first ayah from Jumu'ah. Mentions someone else. Allah talking about one man. It's something that's known in Islam, and it's also known in the biblical scriptures. Bal'ur, or Bal'am, who was a great scholar from the previous nations. The point I'm trying to make is, you just because a person, and of course, the one who's prescribing the medicine is sick himself, the doctor or the pharmacist who prescribes the pills needs the pills himself. Just because you have information doesn't mean that you're acting upon it. And it doesn't mean it's making you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there lies no doubt the knowledge itself is powerful. When you hear it, when you read it, it has an effect on you. And that effect is immediate and instantaneous. Just like what? Food. Bad food or eat too much, eat too little, greasy, sour, sweet, sugary, etc., etc., etc. That's why we put that in the beginning of the book. Okay. And obviously always making a comparison between eating food and eating knowledge. Right? Alright, introduction. We have a new reader on page 5, page 4.
Introduction. All praises belong and are due to Allah alone. May blessing and salutations be sent upon the Messenger of Allah and upon all of his family members and companions. As to what follows, it is well known to all the learned and the laymen the virtue of beneficial knowledge and the superiority of its people.
Everybody knows that. Everybody has some type of respect and admiration for people that are smart. And that is why no one likes to lose in general, but one of the hardest pills to swallow, one of the worst L's to take, is somebody beating you in a game of chess. It's one of the most embarrassing things. Somebody can be stronger than you. They can beat you in wrestling. They can beat you in an arm wrestling match. They can beat you at basketball. They can beat you at ping pong. They can beat you at boxing. You know, it's going to hurt their pride too, let alone their feelings. But somebody who puts you in checkmate in 3 moves, you feel stupid and dumb. Is this not the case? Somebody makes a fool out of you. The game is over. What do you mean? Fuck that king over, bro. It's done. It's over. You're done. 2 moves. Over. You understand? Alright, and no one ever likes to be outwitted and outsmarted. Is this not the case? Many people accept being weaker physically than the next man. Is this not the case? Nobody likes to feel, yo, you played me. You trying to play me. You think you're smarter than me? You think I'm dumb? You think I'm slow? So everybody can agree, Muslim and non-Muslim, about the superiority of knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? And people who wish to keep as a wise man said, all those who have power wish to keep it, and they'll fight to keep it. That's a fact. You want to keep people. You want to keep people under you. You make them ignorant. You keep them ignorant. Right? Further.
Beneficial knowledge is the weapon of the scholar and the provision of the caller to Allah.
The weapon of the scholar, with which he cuts and hacks down ignorance and removes the ugly heads of the ignoramuses with ilm. And it's the provision, it's the zad, it's the gasoline, it's the bread and the water and the food for the one traveling upon the path of giving dawah. What are you calling to? And of course, that's a problem, the dawah scene. And one of the causes behind all of the dawah confusion that we suffer from today is lack of proper knowledge. Half, if not 3/4 of the people giving dawah have no place giving dawah because they don't have any knowledge. They never studied anything. And they're out in the park debating and arguing with every single walk of life. From Christian, Jew, Rastafarian, Hebrew, Israelite. And they're debating with them. And if you sat down, if you asked them, what is your Islamic education? They will tell you, I studied with this brother and that brother who didn't study anywhere. Something is seriously ill. And this is one of the reasons why there's so much confusion. Not the only reason, because knowledge people fight too. There are arguments and disputes too. But we're talking about weeding out, minimizing. It's 7 people, 10 people, blah, blah, blah. If we can get rid of the people who have no education, there will only be 3 people fighting. And 3 is a better number than 10. Further.
Beneficial knowledge is the key ingredient to all success in this life and the next.
You can't worship Allah properly without beneficial knowledge. What did the man say when he came in the masjid? And he made a salah. He gave salam to the Prophet ﷺ. The Messenger of Allah said, Irji' fasalli fa'annaka lam tusalli. He says, go back and pray. You didn't pray. The man was confused. What do you mean I didn't pray? I just prayed. But he listened to the Prophet ﷺ as he's supposed to do. So he made salah a second time. He returned to the Messenger of Allah and the Sahaba a second time. The Prophet ﷺ said, Irji' fasalli fa'annaka lam tusalli. Go and pray again. The man was more confused and dumbfounded, but he listened. And now it happened 3 times, and the man gave up. He became flustered. He says, I swear by Allah, the one who sent you with the truth, this is the best that I can do. So what? What did he say to him? فَعَلِّمْنِي. So teach me. And the Prophet ﷺ says, إِذَا قُمْتَ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ فَاسْتَقْبِلَ الْقِبْلَةَ ثُمَّ كَبِّرْ ثُمَّ. And he taught him how to pray properly. So this man, the reason why he didn't pray properly was because of his lack of what?
Stillness. Knowledge.
No doubt about that. So the proper ibadah is based off of knowledge. No knowledge, no proper ibadah. No proper ibadah, how can you be successful? And the only reason why we're breathing is to do what? إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِي. Allah only made us live to worship Him. So we get the math, the equation, 1 + 1 + 1 equals such and such. Follow.
It is the criterion that the earnest believer uses to distinguish.
The earnest believer, one who wants to go to Jannah for real, the one who's being real and honest with himself, right? The one who's being upfront with himself. Now, follow.
Distinguish between the truth and falsehood.
With regards to his aqidah, with regards to halal and haram, with regards to who to listen to, who to follow, what to do, what's being a mean parent, what's being an easy, lax parent, how to raise my children, what to do. Follow.
The honest and the liar.
He who's honest and he who's a liar. There are many people who will seem to be honest, but they don't tell truth, and vice versa.
Between virtue and vice.
Virtue and vice. What's a good thing to do? What's a bad thing to do? What college should I go to in Medina? Oh, you have to go to Sharia. You need usul, da 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 da. When you read the facts, you look, you investigate, you actually look into, you say, wait a second, that's not adding up. And this is, how are you telling me that one who studies the Prophet's life in detail can't give dawah, or can't talk about fiqh and fatawa, and can't help out the Muslim minorities? How does it even make sense, bro? 7 out of 10 of the Masail Khilafiyya is based off of what? It's a fact. If you took 10 issues of khilaf, I guarantee you 7 out of 10 of them, the reason why there's a difference between the 3 Imams in Abu Hanifa, 3 Imams in Malik, is because of he sees the hadith sahih and they don't, or vice versa. What about the one who spends day and night teaching and spreading and pumping and pushing and propagating that knowledge? What path will he be on? Just thinking like that. Right? Writing books, leaving books behind, teaching the Muslims, helping out the Muslims. Right? Further.
Without proper knowledge, you can neither pray.
Now the opposite. The opposite. We know about the good and we know about the bad. Right? We make a comparison. Everyone understand this? We make a comparison now. You make a plan. The plan is so good. And your war room. You have your little war pieces. Or your war wall. Your, whatever. We do this, we're going to do this. And if you have a bunch of yes men that are the generals under you, or colonels or lieutenants or whatever, they're shaking their hand, yes, it's a perfect plan. Know for sure that you're doomed for failure. And that is because no plan survives contact with the enemy. Period. No strategy is going to remain the same after it's bumped and tapped with the actual real foe. So those other people around you, they're supposed to say, let's reverse it. You understand? We see how good the strategy is now. What happens if they come this way? What happens if they do know they were coming? What happens if this breaks? What happens if the weather is like this? What happens if we don't have access to that hill? So you learn the correct way from the direct approach, and you also learn the correct way from the what? The indirect approach. The knowledge, the virtue of it is because it does, and the opposite, not having knowledge is, you guys with me or not? Fair on this? Further.
Without proper knowledge, you can.
Without proper knowledge, these are the bad things that are going to happen to you. With proper knowledge, these are the good things that are going to happen to you. You guys with me? Everybody on the same page? Further.
You can neither pray nor fast,
Like we just explained.
pay zakat, nor perform a valid.
The 5 pillars of Islam cannot be performed correctly without knowledge, without the basics of knowledge.
Without beneficial knowledge, it is impossible to learn of the halal and the haram.
You'll fall into halal and haram because you don't know, but you have the opportunity to learn. Allah doesn't punish a servant who just doesn't know. But you have access to that knowledge. You didn't ask, you didn't find out. You're responsible for selling this, so on and so forth, because you had access. Fadl.
And thus act accordingly. The virtues of knowledge, the excellence.
Now, take it back to the good. In and what? Out, out, and in. Good, good, good. The bad, bad, bad. Now we can go back to the good.
The virtues of knowledge, the excellence of seeking it, and the superiority of the ulama are countless in the Quran.
Countless. Too many verses. And there are too many different styles that prove. Like we have explained before, with regards to Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, and how he had an army of jinn, of birds, of men. How Sulaiman understood the language of birds. How he understood the statement of the ant and the ants and their anthill. Right? How Sulaiman had the different soldiers and warriors. There were those who were very strong, those who were very fast. قال الذي عنده علم من الكتاب أنا آتيك به قبل أن يرتد طرفك فلما مستقرا عنده. Right? What does Allah tell us in Surah Al-Ma'idah with regards to the dogs? What does Allah call those dogs? From the hip. What does Allah say in Surah Al-Ma'idah with regards to the foods that we're allowed to eat and the animals that we're allowed to use to hunt with? Allah says what? Listen to how many times the word is mentioned. حرمت عليكم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل والمتردية وما أكل السبع إلا ما ذكيتم وما ذبح على النصب و finish. Keep going. اليوم يئس الذين كفروا من دينكم. طيب. فمن اضطر غير. طيب. What does Allah say next? قل وما علمتم. Number 1. تفضل. Thani, the second time. Number 3. Right. What's important is Allah has mentioned that you don't have to do all of the work yourself. You can't do all of the work yourself. There are birds, there are animals that will hunt for you under your training and under your supervision. And Allah has mentioned the word distinctly, what? Tu'allimuna hunna. Right? Allah calls these dogs and these birds learned. But what does the Quran and Sunnah say about dogs? Having dogs as friends and pets, keeping them in your household. The angels don't enter your house, etc., etc. But the dog that has ilm, has knowledge, that has been educated, it moves when you say move. It stops when you say stop. It does not attack the game when you tell it to put down the duck. Put it down. Let go of the goose. It lets it go. Because it has what? It has knowledge. And Allah has allowed us to eat the food that they catch. And as Imam Ibn Sa'di mentioned, Allah Azza wa Jalla did not say, "Faghsilu," wash what they catch. Allah did not say that the saliva of the hunter, the dog that's been trained and educated, is najis. If it was najis, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, wash it. But Allah says what? To do what? To eat mimma amsak. To eat that which the dog brings you. What makes the dog superior and most virtuous except for what? The first thing Allah taught Adam was what? Knowledge. Allah mentioned what word? Allama. What was the first revelation to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Iqra. One of the fastest ways of seeking knowledge. What does Allah say about Himself? Praise Himself. Allama al-insana. Allah taught Mufti. You guys get the point? And there's story after story, Quranic verse after Quranic verse, all of them prove the excellence and the superiority of knowledge. Qul, say, O Muhammad, هل يستوي الذين يعلمون? It's impossible. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس. And you go on and on and on and on and on and on. Allah clearly states is that those who have knowledge and those who have knowledge they are unequal. There is no equality in everything in Islam. So the moral of the story, what I'm trying to prove to you guys is that among the scholars of Islam, the proof and the evidence, or the thing that's being proven is going to be of two types. There's the quantity, in which Allah says the same thing over and over and over and over again, in the same way, such as al-istiwa, thumma stawa al-arsh. Allah mentions that, thumma stawa al-arsh, fastawa al-arsh. How many times? 7 times with that specific wording. Something being mentioned 7 times, it's no way it's going to be an accident or something figurative or something metaphorical. That's just stupidity. And anyone who says that he's not using his brain. And not once did Allah say it's still left. Not one time. You're telling me that is the mandatory interpretation of it. Wajib. But what Allah has used the word istawa how many times? You guys get the point I'm trying to make? Not one time He said it. Okay, it can mean this. But Allah Azza wa Jalla used the term that you yourself say is anthropomorphic. وَلِيَعْذُ بِاللَّهِ. And kufr and tabseem and tabseed and etc. Over and over and over and over again. Don't you think that's a little silly, Hamza? To say the same word, use the same word, how many times? So that's the quantity. Let alone the tanawwu al-dilalat. The proof being established, but different styles, different avenues. So Allah talks about Him being above the throne, Him being the most high in different ways. Such as the angels fear Him from above. إِلَيْهِ يَصْعَدُ وَالْعَمَلُ الصَّالِحُ يَرْفَعُهُ إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ. We have sent it down. So Allah says we send things down. Allah says things what? Ta'ruju, that the angels they do what? Ta'ruju, they ascend. You guys get the point I'm trying to make? Inni mutawaffika wa rafi'uka ilayya. So there are different styles that the Quran establishes up and down, down and up. How are you going to sit there and say the opposite? And the same applies to making an example of ilm. Allah Azza wa Jalla says they are unequal. The dogs, Adam, the jinn, the men, the parables. So there's tanawwu ish dilalat. The proofs and evidences are diversified and mixed up, clearly strengthening the point that knowledge is utterly superior. We can agree on this or not. You with me, Hamza? Fadl.
And ample in the authentic prophetic.
As far as the hadith, then this is too many to count.
As for the statements of the pious predecessors,
After our Salaf, what did the Salaf al-Salih say about ilm? What did they say about ilm? What did they say about the ulama and seeking knowledge? Books, volumes are full, libraries are full of their athar.
and disciples up to this day.
The scholars who came after the Salaf, after the first 2 generations, they spoke about it in the 4th century, the 5th century, the 6th century, the 7th century. The modern day scholars today talked about ilm, promoted ilm, pushed ilm. Islamic University of Medina, this Islamic University in Lahore, in Karachi, in South Africa, Timbuktu, Mali, around the world. Push the knowledge, those who are blessed by Allah. Lahore, and Karachi, Islamabad, Waqid, Fadl.
Then entire volumes can be filled, which would cover walls of libraries.
Without any exaggeration.
This is a simple compilation of the 40 prophetic.
Now let's get down to business. What is our book about? All right, enough fluff, right? Filler, wasting time in introduction. Right, Hamza? Now let's talk about what this is.
That I have selected for myself.
Myself. I didn't get it from anyone else directly. Obviously, I was taught and educated, but I didn't. It's not. We didn't. No plagiarism. Mahmoud. No copy and paste in. Inshallah ta'ala. Biting. What did the poet say? The early poets. He said the sign at the door said what? No biting is allowed. How'd you walk in and miss that sign? No biting allowed. That's a qaida of our culture. No biting. Fadl.
And for the dear readers, my brothers and sisters in Islam.
Why I wrote the book? Fadl.
I have tried my best to keep the book in the simplest and easiest form.
Not too many footnotes, not too much commentary, if any, no this, no that, simple, easy, lean.
I have made the English translation of Mishkat al-Masabih by James Robson.
Mishkat al-Masabih is one of the most beneficial hadith books. And there's several translations. And obviously there's a history and a story. There's a genealogy of that book, Mishkat al-Masabih. Al-Masabih, Sharh al-Sunnah, etc., etc. Al-Imam al-Baghawi, rahimahullah. That book is a summary of a summary of a summary. And there are different translations of that book, Mishkat al-Masabih, which is one of the most beneficial books that you'll find. Up there, if not better and bigger than Riyadh al-Salihin. Right? And there's one translator, James Robson, is very interesting. James Robson wasn't a Muslim. He was a Scottish Orientalist. But I have found that his translation was one of the simplest and easiest ones that were available of all books in English, let alone of Mishkat al-Masabih. So I made that my base for them. But without
as my default translation.
default. For them.
Therefore, all translation of the hadiths are quoted there from unless stated otherwise, or unless I decided to use my own translation where I see it to be more suitable.
And this is very important with regards to the different hadith disciple critical book reviews that we've done, is that when you write a book, you should give some type of background information about the book. Dear brothers who write books, there's nothing known about who they are, or where they come from, or what's the style, or the translation. What version of Arabic did you use? Nothing. It's just translated by Fulan.
As for the wordings of the hadith, then if the hadith is found in Al-Bukhari and Muslim, I chose to quote the wording of Muslim.
Why did I mention that Muslim's wording in Arabic and not Bukhari's version? Isn't Bukhari more authentic? Isn't just because Imam Bukhari, according to most scholars, is more authentic, it doesn't mean that it's superior to Imam Muslim's book in every aspect. And there are many aspects, not all, in which Imam Muslim, the student of Bukhari, the disciple of Bukhari, faqa shaykhahu, outdid his teacher. Or if you don't say that, he had his own style, which is superior. And from that is Imam Muslim i'tina'uhu bil alfaz wa ikhtilaf al-ruwat. is the specific wordings. And Imam Muslim, he wrote his book, Al-Musnad al-Sahih, between 12 to 14 years in Nishapur, in his home country. Imam al-Bukhari, he basically wrote his book on the road, as he would say. A hadith that I heard in Sham, I never wrote it down until I got to Iraq. A hadith I heard in Iraq, I didn't write it down until I was back in the Hijaz. Can you imagine that? So it's different, let alone their styles. It's like the Chinese sword style versus the Japanese sword style. And the different types of sword style within China, not just one type of sword. This type of movement versus that type of movement. So Bukhari style and Muslim style. Sometimes it's the same, and sometimes it's what? Everyone understand this? And Imam Muslim's wordings in general, we're going to provide something more. And obviously that's hadith talk, but obviously we have a mixed crowd. We have some brothers and sisters who have that type of appetite. You guys, if you just want to sit in front of me and hear the same old stuff you hear anywhere else, why even sit with me? You can go listen to this one or that one, better internet connection, better lighting, better this. Why come to my restaurant if you can get the same food that you can get what? We come to this steakhouse because this is where they got what? This type, you get the point I'm trying to make? Further.
Unless stated otherwise, for reasons that cannot be explained in this brief introduction.
Like the hadith issues.
I have made brief reference to some of the books of the Albani the Great.
Albani the Great. That's the title that we gave him. I don't think anyone coined that title before us. Albani the Great. The Great One. Rahimahullah ta'ala wa radiya anhu. A huge impact and influence on my life as a student of knowledge. And I'll never ever forget the time when I first heard Sheikh Albani on tape. There's a tape called The Obligation of Hijrah. That day, that tape, may Allah bless the brother that gave me that tape, not a CD, tape player, a Walkman, that changed my life forever, to this very day. Fadl.
And Al-Jami' al-Sahih Mimma
Laysa fi-Sahihayn.
Of the Hadith Master of Yemen.
Sheikh Muqbil who also changed my life. I never got a chance to meet him. He died when I was in high school. But I met and studied with many of his students. But I read many of his books. Listened to him.
May Allah's mercy be showered on them all.
Ameen.
I have not referenced other books of the scholars of the past and or present who declare those hadiths to be sound or weak for the purpose of simplicity and ease for the
Don't make things too complicated in the footnotes.
I cannot forget to give my special thanks to the following brothers. Hadeeth Faust, my valued friend and student, Bilal Hinson, my elder, and Zakaria Bakhsh, my young apprentice, for their proofreading and editing of the book.
These are brothers that helped me out and assisted me in the English, the grammar, and the layout. Alhamdulillah, I did the typesetting and everything myself. They helped me out with the grammar and the typos. Fadl.
I ask Allah to increase them all in success and guidance.
Ameen.
Anything that is correct and sound in this humble effort is only from the bounty and mercy of Allah.
Something we learned from our scholars. Humility. And one of the ways of mastering knowledge is not to know all knowledge, but is to know where to find that knowledge within a short period of time. And that's what makes doctors and lawyers and other carpenters, it makes them so good. You're a master carpenter, a master plumber, he goes into his van and he knows what? Where to find the tool. Versus the one that he has working for him, he says, go in the car and give me this such and such a drill bit. You're in the back of the van looking for half an hour. He's like, where you at? I need a drill bit. Which one? Where to find it? Is this not the case? He comes to the van and says, move out the way. Done. He knows where to find it quickly. And the same applies to knowledge. So you buy a book, you don't read the whole book, you didn't read the introduction, you don't know what's in the book. Versus I read the introduction, I skimmed through it, I looked through it, I read the table of contents. So, hey, what's the ruling on me wearing, can I wipe over ankle socks? Can I make a mess over ankle socks? Hold on for a second. I know I have a book in my library, similar. Bang. Just like that. Let alone if you actually memorize the knowledge by heart. Fadl. So that's the end of the introduction, inshallah ta'ala. How much more time do we have? 17 17 minutes? All right, perfect. All right, so before we go forward and let's read through the chapter headings briefly. Number 1 says, seeking beneficial knowledge is a means of glad tidings from Allah. The excellence of knowledge. The obligation of seeking knowledge upon every single Muslim. For who and what are you seeking knowledge? The fruits of lack of sincerity in seeking knowledge. Virtue, superiority, cohesive. The superiority of learning the sciences of the Quran. The nobility of the students of Hadeeth. The paramount status of the ulama. The death of the ulama, a true tragedy. The disappearance of true knowledge. Obviously that's connected to the death of the ulama. And the death of the ulama is so serious because they have such a, you understand how it all works together? The similitude of those who combine between learning and teaching. Seeking refuge in Allah from knowledge that does not benefit. It goes what? Hand in hand. The great harm and danger of the impostor ulama. And one of the signs of the impostor, fake ulama, are those who don't act upon their knowledge. Seeking knowledge is the way to paradise. Going back to the virtues. Seeking knowledge is the means of sustenance. Going back to the virtues. In the dunya, not just the akhirah, in the dunya, seeking knowledge is a way of you making money and getting money. That's not your intention. That shouldn't be your intention. But you have to be real. Knowledge is so powerful. And this is a lesson for everybody because many brothers, they can't seek knowledge because they're worried about how they're going to feed their family. How they're going to, make a living. Or the parents, they say to their children, you can go to Medina, well, what are you going to do, son? How are you going to make money? You have to be a doctor. You have to be an engineer. You have to be a lawyer. How are you going to eat if you don't have a job? And these people, I'll say in reality, at best, they're narrow-minded and short-sighted, at best. And at worst, they're just plainly ignorant of the deen and of the dunya. Of the deen and of the dunya. If you went to Medina, Zayd, it's not your intention, that's not why you're seeking knowledge. But let's say you went to Medina, right? You graduated. You come back, razor blade sharp. You think you're going to be starving? What's the chances of you being hungry and cold on the streets? What's the chances of you can't getting married? What's the chances of you not having what you need and want? And you come back spending all those years in the Prophet's city. You've learned, you studied, you memorized the whole Quran. What's the chances of that? Like logically, does that make sense? There are going to be so many people contacting you, asking you, begging you, come here, do this, do this. You're going to literally have to reject and ignore people. And that's because of the beauty of ilm, and the virtue and the power of ilm. As Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, says, من طلب هذا العلم بذلة نفس طلب عزيزا أو كما قال رحمه الله. If you seek knowledge humbly, you'll be sought after, what? Vigorously. People will, طلب عزيزا. People will pull you and drag you, pull your arms apart. That is how things work in the dunya. That's just the nature of hard work. Moving forward. The punishment for those who conceal beneficial knowledge. The danger in passing on knowledge that you aren't sure of. Look at the balance between that. You have to spread the ilm, but you can't spread the ilm unless you're sure of it. The permissibility of concealing knowledge for a greater benefit. Alhamdulillah, that's a hat trick right there. It's a hat trick. That's 3 right in a row. Number 1, the danger of what? You can't conceal knowledge. So it means you have to do what? Give it. But number 2, you can't give it unless you're sure. Number 3, what did we just say? That sometimes it's permissible to conceal it. That's a what? A trick. You got it? That's 3 goals in one soccer game. Trifecta. There you go. All in one. You see the cohesion or not? Moving forward. Avoid overburdening the people. The outcome of those who do not act upon their knowledge. Traveling to seek knowledge. A true student of knowledge never stops studying. After you've traveled and come back, you keep studying. The dispraise of blind following. One of the main reasons why you need to seek knowledge is to free your neck from the noose of taqleed. And that's what the word taqleed means. جَعَلُوا الْقِلَادَ فِي عُنُقِ الْبَعِيرِ في عنق الحيوان في عنق الجاموس في عنق البقر is that you place a string or a rope around the neck of the animal. and you what? You pull it and you steer it. This is halal? Yes, that's halal. This is haram? Naam, sheikh, it's haram. This person's an innovator? Yeah, I hate him, he's an innovator. Why is he an innovator? What innovations did he make? I don't know. Go ask somebody else. Why you hate him? Why are you talking about him? Why don't you benefit from him? Because he's an innovator. I said, damn, did you hear what I said? But you don't know why he's an innovator. You guys get the point? You're just a muqallid, a blind follower. And I'll say this now, and I've said this many times before, and I'll say it openly and publicly. These people have disrespected and they've desecrated the way of the Salaf, and the name of the Salaf, and the title of the Salaf. And from the ugly, nasty, dirty things that they've used to smear that name and that title is the taqleed that they impose upon people and force upon people. And they worship Allah Azza wa Jalla with taqleed, systematic taqleed. ويلزمون الناس بالتقليد فضلا عن التعصب فضلا عن تقديس الأشخاص فضلا عن هذه الأشياء, fanaticism, bigotry, being fanatics, vampires, Sheikh Quran, my Sheikh, you have to listen to him, Brother Quran. They're fanatical, but they're fanatical upon blind following. Anyone this Sheikh says is an innovator, khalas, it's sealed, it's over. Rather, as one of the learned scholars said this, if Sheikh Quran declares someone an innovator, even though you've known him for 20 years, his Aqidah Sahiha, he's written 50 books on Hadeeth and the Ilm al-Rijal, etc. If Sheikh Quran says he's a Mubtadi', Salu bil-Layl. They say pray at night. Make Taraweeh, make Qiyam, and don't rush in rejecting the Sheikh's ruling. Allah will open up your heart and He'll give you the conviction because you prayed. What is filthy kalam? Sheikh Quran said he's not an innovator. He doesn't know. He's not as good as Sheikh Quran. He's not an expert. Or he's not the top. He's not Qadha. They worship Allah with severe taqleed, and they force others to make taqleed. And the one that's hated the most from among them is one who refuses to bow down, and one who uses his brain. And the Salaf al-Salih, they never ever worshiped Allah with systematic taqleed. So just as I say, this group is a deviant, this brother has mistakes, so do you. And you're deviants as well. They do this right, they do that right, but they make this, do this, and you worship Allah with taqleed. And you force it upon people, and you teach the taqleed, you force others to be muqallideen. And that is not the way of the what? Of the Salaf al-Salih. It's not the way of Imam Ahmed and Bukhari, and that's not the way of Ibn Taymiyyah, that's not the way of Al-Bani. So, don't ever think that you can shoot at people without people what? Busting back at you. Right? Boards don't punch back. Right? People will shoot at you back. And that's why we put this chapter, this praise, them taqleed. Is it permissible to blind follow? Can you blindly follow someone? Are there instances? We're not negating that. But taqleed is kalmeita, as the ulama will say. A taqleed is kalmeita. It's like carrion. It's like a dead animal that wasn't slaughtered properly. It's khabith. It's filthy. But it's lawful to eat when there's what? When there's necessity. فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ. When there's a necessity, you can eat that type of animal. You can drink wine. You can eat a khinzir. But does that mean that the wine and the khinzir isn't khabith from the get-go? And it has to be looked at as being what? It's filthy. Not, the taqleed is okay, it's alright, it's nothing wrong with it, but he's just student knowledge. No, we don't promote people to blindly follow anyone and to hero worship anybody and put anybody on a pedestal, right? You must memorize those student of knowledge. A student of knowledge without memorization, Allah musta'an. And that's why many of the Salaf al-Salih, they would say the knowledge that you can't take into the bathroom isn't real knowledge. العلم الذي لا تستطيع أن تدخل به الحمام فليس بعلم. The knowledge that you can't take in the hammam isn't what? Why are you writing that down, sister? Don't write that statement down. You writing down that statement is going against what? That statement. Listen carefully. The knowledge that you can't take in the hammam isn't real, meaning that the knowledge has to be. You get it? And it doesn't mean that you can't write something down. It doesn't mean it's haram right now. I'm trying to make a point. It's the importance and the superiority of what? Hifd. Having the knowledge with you wherever you go. Having it on the hip, it's not like, let me go to the trunk, right? And then, yakhtalif, or is it the same? It's not the same. Bang, pow, versus, wait, I'll be right back. Let me go get it. Let me unlock it. Let me load it. Versus, chapow. That hacker, the knowledge is always with you. So you always have it, no matter what. No matter what time of the day, bang, call it Bukhari Kevin. Call it Kevin. Just like that. You gotta memorize. You gotta work hard to memorize. Repetition is the key to understanding the importance of knowledge, memorization along with understanding. How do you sharpen your intelligence? Through repeating it. Seeking beneficial knowledge requires great sacrifice. Not a little sacrifice. It comes for free. Don't think, you think you're going to go to Jannah and you are not going to be tested? You're not going to be put through the meat grinder? You think so? Those who came before you, Allah says, they were shaken terribly. They were hungry. They starved. They suffered. You have to sacrifice. And if you're unwilling to give up something and to pay something, then go be something else. But you can't be a student of knowledge. Read to your teacher. Day and night, read to your teacher. Beware of using knowledge to chase the dunya. Don't seek knowledge to get girls, get married, pretty sisters. Don't seek knowledge for people to pay you, give you money. Don't seek knowledge to get fame and fortune and to get a name and a reputation and people love you. MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah. Don't seek knowledge for people to kiss you on your forehead. Don't seek knowledge for people to be your groupies and your tag-alongs and your followers. Don't seek knowledge to be known to be a celebrity. Seek knowledge for the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Seek knowledge because you have to seek it. Seek knowledge because you love it. But at the same time, knowledge is powerful. And in most cases, if you excel and seek knowledge, all of those things that you were running away from, they're going to what? Come after you. And that's your destiny. That's your risk. Moving forward, write down anything beneficial that you come across in your studies. Write down what? Anything beneficial. But at the same time, keep your memory what? Sharp. You got it? Use your time wisely as student of knowledge. Just that chapter, Hadith number 34, is one of the most important chapters of the entire book. Use your time wisely. Al-waqtu kasayf. Time is like a sword. Women should also be eager to seek knowledge. Hadith number 36. I made this just for the sisters. Don't think that seeking knowledge is just for men. Don't think that you can be ignorant. And don't ever forget that the woman's lap is the first madrasa of the child. What happens if your child's first teacher is ignorant? How's the child going to turn out? Imam Ahmed, why did he go out and seek hadith? Because who sent him? You know who pushed Imam Ahmed to seek hadith? His mother, not his father. It's best to seek a field of expertise. Knowledge is so vast, wide, you have to pinpoint. Let alone in this masjid, we need the qari, we need the faqih, we need the usuli, we need the muhaddith, we need the seerah master, we need the brother who specializes in psychology, we need the brother who does this, we need the expertise. That's how you build a team. That's how you build a powerhouse. Everyone doesn't shoot 3-pointers. Everyone doesn't get rebounds. Everyone doesn't run the point, right? They all work together. Even though the one who runs the point can also shoot. The one who shoots can also dribble. The one who gets the rebound, but that's not his expertise, his field. He's a shooter. But he can play defense too. What happened to that? Beware of envying your peers. Also one of the most important chapters of the book. Beware of hasad. And most people who talk about people today, it's not for the face of Allah, but it's only because of hating. Stop hating, bro. Please, keep it real. You just mad and salty, be tight or whatever. And he's better than you. Give him his props. Say, Alhamdulillah, mashallah, he's better than me. Why I gotta hate you? I'm supposed to celebrate that you doing good. Because you doing good is doing good for what? All of us. Hasad is evil. And it's from the trace of Iblis. And there were many great scholars of the past who went through different things. And if they went through this, they went through challenges of hasad, don't think in 2022 in Kansas City, you're going to be free from it. You must be consistent in studying. Can't be on and off when you feel like studying, when you feel like memorizing, when you feel like you got to do it full time. The only two ways to succeed in seeking knowledge. the virtues of the sittings of dhikr. That's why you see knowledge is to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's the extra bonus hadith. Inshallah, so that's the book. We left a few pages in the end for notes. Inshallah ta'ala, if there are any questions about the book or what we mentioned, we'll try to take them down. And I think that the more you read the book, the more you study the book, inshallah, you'll get more secrets from the book.
With regards to taqleed, what would you say to those who follow him and say they, because this is the stance of Shafi'i stance or Hanafi,
Understood.
and if I do take them from them, I'm free from fault.
Understood. Taqleed, why is taqleed so evil? One of the reasons why taqleed is so evil is that it's disrespect to Allah's gift. And Allah's gift to man is aql. It's the brain, the intellect, the mind. So, as if a person who makes taqleed, he just switches it off. Why I think? Abu Hanifa thought about it already. Imam Shafi'i thought about it already. Malik thought about it already. Ahmed thought about it already. Utaymin, bin Baz, Albani, Fulan, why even research the hadith? So, that's the mantiq of that type of person. So this is one of the reasons why taqleed is bad. Number two, one of the reasons why taqleed is so bad is that seeking the knowledge, looking to the proofs, that itself is ibadah. And that promotes lack of laziness and lethargy. But deeper than that is taqleed is a close cousin to something else, which is what? Well, who is taqleed related to? 9 out of 10 times when taqleed's there, something else is going to be there, which is what?
Innovation.
Fanaticism. There's no doubt about that. I'm pleased with following this scholar blindly, and so should you. And you need to too. And if you don't follow Malik, if you don't follow Shafi'i to the T 100%, then you have no fiqh. What do you mean you just read the hadith? You have to follow. So on and so forth. Inshallah, I believe that's the end of the time that we have. Say about that, huh? This is about to roll up the sleeves.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu